Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. It is Wednesday, and you know what that means. It means we bring on Matt, the mortgage guy. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. So, hey, we have a huge announcement to make. We are now going nationwide. So, if anybody is one rental at a time and wants help from Matt, the mortgage guy, which so many people have asked for, they can get it now.
Right. And that was the thing, after folks spoke and they told me, man, I'm in Arizona. Wish I could work with you. Man, I'm in Florida. Wish I could work with you and your team. You spoke, we listened, nationwide. The transition to U Mortgage is in progress. It's funny because people who are in the ecosystem and know, and then slowly but surely, like the Facebook background changes or the YouTube channel background changes, and the people like, hey, what's this new, purple U Mortgage logo? But the good news is for folks out there who want to work with somebody that they like and trust, hopefully we're those folks. And we've set up greatmortgagebroker.com to where you just go there, fill out a quick 6 questions. You're going to get contacted from our team, and we just want to know, how can we help you? You're looking to refinance in Florida, you're looking to get pre-approved to buy something in Georgia, no matter where it's at or what you're looking to do, we'll get you connected to the right folks and get you rolling.
And again, this is purchase, owner-occ, second homes, investment homes, refinance. If you want help and you can still get those first 10 loans, it is now time to reach out to Matt, the mortgage guy. He's part of one rental at a time, and he can help you.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I want people to think, is 1 to 4 unit residential home loans. If you've got a need for anything in that arena, we do quite a few, so I think we're pretty good at it.
There you go. Well, hey, on that topic, what I want to talk about first here is a lot of people look at real estate investors, real estate investing loans. They have a W-2, but sometimes they get attracted to the whole idea of, you know what, I'm going to quit my job and go full time, and that could be a disaster from getting approved for a loan, right? Let's talk about that.
Right. And that's the thing too, is I literally had this conversation at that networking meeting I was at last week, or that real estate investment meeting I was at, where, people are desperate to quit their day job, or they're like, I can't wait until I can quit. And I say, I feel you. And I understand, when you're not happy or you're not fulfilled working the W-2 job, that it can be one of those things. What's funny, Mike? I heard this stat this morning. In August, 4.3 million people quit their jobs.
I saw that. 4.3. Yeah.
Right.
Crazy.
And so if you did that because you're like, I'm all in on real estate investing, I'm burning the boats, my thing for you is, think about it before you do it. And I think it all boils down to have a plan. When I saw your burn the boats, I was like, yes, amen. And I deal with it every day in my business, where before you burn the boats, maybe put together a plan, because it's going to be a lot less stressful path and journey. And here's what I think is my advice to folks, and what has worked and I've seen work, is you work your 9 to 5, and you're, it's not the worst job in the world. And you're like, man, I make $85,000 a year. How long can I stomach this? As you start to, develop this passion for real estate and turnkey rentals, or maybe it's Airbnb, whatever it is in real estate, right? You're going to start doing that 2 or 3 hours a night. And then you find some momentum, and you're like, okay, now I'm doing it 4 or 5 hours a night. I don't want to piss off any employers, but some people have some downtime at work. Maybe an hour or 2 in front of that computer, you're on break, right? And you're doing that. Then you're able to have the best financing in the world, because you qualify with W-2 income, and you get number 1 and you get number 2. And as that starts to take off, all that runway and all that buildup, like, do that while you're inside that job, to where you've got $85,000 a year in income from the W-2. And then the income from real estate goes 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. You're living high on the hog while it's in growth mode. And then you see the magic of like, oh my gosh, now the real estate is doing better than this. I can cut that loose.
Yeah.
That's a lot better scenario and plan, in my opinion, than just being like, screw it, I'm going to make it work. And then you run into like, oh shoot, now I've got to borrow money at 6% instead of 3%.
Yeah.
It's good. And you've got new hurdles.
Yeah. That's what I really want to talk about, right? Is have a plan. Right. One of the stories in this book is from a gentleman who now is the best investor in Fresno. Right. I call him that. And I forget what chapter it is. I think it's chapter 10. No, it's chapter 14. And he had a plan, right? He put it together. He borrowed. So again, he got an equity line borrowed when he was employed, right? He set it up. He's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go get an equity line on my, or home equity line on my home. I'm going to get some credit cards and all of this. And he basically put 6 months away of reserves so that he could go after it. Right. If you're going to go after this real estate investing, it is, I believe it's far better to kind of build it as a side hustle like I did. You get the best rates, you let the income snowball go, you know, kind of all of these factors. But if you just have to do it, like the story 14 in my latest book, still there's a way you could do it right. You don't just walk in one day, have a bad meeting and quit.
Yeah,
no,
right.
You're like, I'm going to do this. Well, first, let me think, honey, we got some equity in the home. Let's have an extra reserve. Hey, maybe we have this, maybe we have that. You know, we're going to cash out a 401k, whatever the answer is, have a plan. And then again, in today's world where getting cheap money is relatively easy, get it when you're employed, right? Don't get out and go, oh my God, you got to get it at, you know, you got to go non-QM and go at 6 or 6.5 when you could borrow at 3. Trust me, the numbers are a lot better at 3% than 6.5. So
Right.
have a plan.
Yeah. And you can build a really solid foundation, do some really cool stuff when you've got W-2 income, side hustle income going at the same time. Because yeah, maybe during the ramp up, like, oh my gosh, I've got this extra 2,000 to 3,000 in cash flow and whatnot. Okay. Well, then use that to pay off all debt. And you've got no consumer debt, no car, you know, and it makes for a better story. I see more success stories. I hear more success stories, that path versus like, man, I quit my job. I had to get hard money. Then I had to make sure this flip was successful. Then I took that money and I did this. It's like, oh my gosh, that is
so stressful,
so risky, so stressful. You know, at 42, you had a bleeding ulcer and you know, you almost quit. Like, let's avoid that. There's a better way.
Yeah, there's a couple of things I just want to close with, right? If you're going to start up an LLC, getting cheap money, you need at least 2 years of tax returns, right? So start as a side hustle. Is that correct?
Right.
And then there's a lot, this whole great resignation that we're talking about, 4.2 million folks. In order to keep getting that cheap 30-year money, if you're going to quit one job and go to the next job, you know, are there time frames? It's like, hey, you got to be in it 90 days, or if you're in the same industry, you're good. Is there any kind of rules of thumb around that?
Well, I just had this conversation with a client too, because they were trying to figure out like when can I change jobs and when is it okay? And when you're going into a salaried W-2 job, there's no real, you know, time that you need to be in it. The problem lies where you go from something that has any sort of commission component to it, or, you know, there's bonus, or there's something that changes. And just think about variable pay in any way. If it varies at all in any way, lenders want 2 years history.
Wow.
If you walk into a job that says we're going to pay you $7,700 per month, next month, the month after, the month after, the month after,
you're good.
You've got an offer letter and we can use that right away. But what we can't use is you've got a $3,000 base, you get this much commission, you're probably going to get some overtime. Then we're just stuck with, okay, we can give you the $3,000.
Yeah. We good news. We can count the 3, not the 6.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So folks, again, in today's environment, I've been doing this 20 years. This has been the time where it's like, okay, keep the W-2. Even if you hate your W-2, keep it. Just tell yourself you're building something on the side. It will work. Use it to get better financing. Use it to have a reserve. Borrow. You know, if you're gonna quit, like my friend did, go get that equity line early because he couldn't get it after he quit. There are just options to do it right. Would you agree with that?
I totally agree with it. And the thing about it is usually when you have a why that you care about, and your why might be financial freedom, you know, X number of rentals, whatever, doing the stuff that sucks isn't so bad.
Yeah.
So
hold
do
on.
that stuff that you don't necessarily like, because you know what your why is and you know why you're doing it, right? Like, I don't really like my boss. I don't like this job, but I know that in 5 years I can become financially free and use that as motivation.
Very cool, folks. And again, one more time, as we started, Matt the Mortgage Guy is now nationwide. You need to go to greatmortgagebroker.com. 6 simple questions. Let them know you came from one rental at a time. Here's the deal. I love this channel. I'm hoping this gets blown up today. Purchase, investment, refi, all 50 states, cheap money. Use somebody that's on the channel. So Matt, thank you for all you do. Thank you for being a part of this weekly.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
All right. Take care.